Just starting off with the 5 functions of a business, and we have covered the others. So I like to say, well, if you if you I can't remember which areas we have covered already. We're actually finishing up the five functions of a business, and we have already covered production and marketing, right? So now we are going to just finish off the distribution, right? Okay, all right. So do you guys know how a product is made? There is a manufacturer, and then the manufacturer would just directly deal with the customers face to face. But however, oh yes, we have dealt with this before, but just as a recap. But I say that you don't want to deal with a customer directly, then you can just send it through a retailer, and then the retailer would just deal with the customer directly. However, there are also different types of ways that you can actually sell a product or get your product distributed, right? And so at the third stage, we see how there is a wholesaler, and you would buy your products in bulk instead of individuals, like a wholesaler, and then the both of them would just deal directly with the customer, right? So that is simple and easy. Do you have any questions?
None yet, miss.
Okay, all right, great. All right, so next we're going to deal with finances, right? So tell me, okay, I know that you guys see what is on the screen, but tell me a little bit about what you know of the finance department, or what you know about finances in general.
They would basically cover the costs and revenues that the business basically goes through. They'd keep records and accounts
Mm-hmm.
of these various transactions that the business engages in,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's all I can think of right now.
Okay, all right, great. Oh yeah, definitely. I think you handled a portion, if not half, of it, definitely. And but it doesn't only deal with such things, but it also deals with with issue. It deals with different sources, or finding different sources of financing as well. Like for example, you know how a business an entrepreneur would sometimes use their personal finances. Instead of doing that, they can actually borrow a loan. But before borrowing that loan, they would have to really and truly dive deep down into their finances to see exactly if they have the sufficient means, and also a capability of borrowing a loan from the bank, right? So yeah, but besides that, every single thing you said is definitely correct. And later on, we'll see exactly how those financial statements come into come into play, right? I know. Okay, so actually no, I don't. I want to give the answer away. Um, what subject do you think is catered to finance and that you're doing presently?
Alright, Miss. There's currently Hakim and I, right? Well, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So one would be principles of accounts,
Mm-hmm.
and the other would be office administration.
Economic.
As well, economics as well, but mainly it would more so be office administration. We do both. We do all three of those, but
Mm-hmm.
those have some really hefty accounting in there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Have you ever thought of mathematics?
Facts no. Yeah, Miss. Maths as well, Miss.
Yes. Yes, maths as well. Um, and have you ever also thought of English?
Not so much.
Okay, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Why English? Because on certain reports, right? Especially okay, for example, I am in Barbados, right? And a few weeks ago, the government had actually spoke about their budget and every single thing. And like a while ago as well, I had actually gained access to a financial report of the government, the financial a report of the government's finances from a few years back. I think like 2018 or so. Right. So when I saw that, right, after the um after the oh dear, anyhow, the balance sheet and every single thing like that, I actually saw notes writing what was going on in those balance sheets, right? Because from a plain old balance sheet, right, you can't really tell the whole picture, right? And so then the accountants are going to have to write a little note after the statements stating what happened and what is going on, right? So for English, you have to know you have to spell your words correctly, and you have to know exactly how to write, right? So that is why I said English, right? Because you can't have a misspelled words and commas where they're not supposed to be and all of that, right? And so, do you guys see how the subjects and that you're doing presently matters?
Actually, yes, Miss.
Okay. All right. Great. So yes. So that was just a little taster of what actually happens in the real world, because I know that sometimes it can be difficult in school to see exactly how every single thing applies, right? So yeah, right. So would you ever want to become an accountant? No.
No.
Not exactly, Miss.
Okay. All right. So neither of you. All right. So tell me why though. I want to hear the answer. Why?
Alright, Miss. Well, basically, to be an accountant, you're supposed to be like good at accounts because that's like one of the foundations. You know, what I'm saying you build up your foundation.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not really good with that kind of stuff. Like, just dealing with numbers upon numbers
Mhm.
for the rest of my life. You get me? Like,
Yeah, I
I
got
understand maths is important and stuff, but
Mhm.
not in like that context. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'd rather like we have a couple other careers I'll potentially looking into.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I get you. And what about you, Haki?
I don't like it.
Okay. All right. All right. That's fine. That's fine. I would honestly say so myself, honestly. Numbers are very intimidating. But yeah, but but to do it as a career, it's a bit much for me as well. So yeah, even though I currently do math and financial courses at university, I would honestly say to do it every single day as a career, it's a bit much. It's pushing it a bit. So and as I say, I'm not a really strong in the numbers area. However, if I am pretty consistent and study pretty hard, I think that I would do a good job in terms of knowledge and all of that. But to actually do it is a bit much. So yeah, I agree with you guys, right? So yeah, the finance department is honestly staffed by by financial managers as well as accountants and also accounting clerks as well. The work is very strict, meaning that you have a lot of deadlines, but it is also very rigorous as well. Um, Sorry, not a rigorous, I mean redundant, right? Meaning that you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? So sometimes if you're like someone who is a right brain or who is more so creative and all of that, a job like that isn't gonna cut out for you at all. Right? So yeah, and then as well it is long hours, especially on days where if you're a supermarket and you have stock taking and all of that. um yeah, just await long hours. Yeah so yeah, not that fun, but yeah, it is what it is if you're an accountant and you like it anyhow. So yeah. Right. So as you said before, Josh, um, they do keep records. And they also present records in their when they have their meetings and all that. And these records really help the managers to make these decisions. Like for example, as I was telling you, um, about the same borrowing a loan or anything like that, the records, the financial records, are there to help you to see if you're able to do that, or do you have to wait until you get enough finances um to cover that loan and all that, and also if you have to find like different alternatives, right? But at a later date we will figure out what those alternatives are. All right, so these are the reasons. Is not only how to finance the business, but it is also if to buy a building or go online, if it's efficient and effective, if to make a product, right, if to make a product or buy it and resell it, which may be a cheaper option. But also too, you also have to figure out where you have to buy it. Because if you are producing it locally, it would be very expensive, right? And that is why a large businesses like Google, Apple, and all these big, huge American companies, they would usually outsource their human resources. Well, majority of their human resources to countries like China and India, right? Which have um a lower labor wage, right? But in terms of is that ethical or not, I don't think so. But we'll have to get into that at a later date, right? Um, it also identifies where managers are able to save if they're able to choose cheaper materials instead of instead of other large um sorry other expensive materials and all that. And oh yes, and then as I said before, sorry, this is actually present accounts and not financial statements, right? But then also you would present your financial statements. So accounts would be a kind of well, it is different, but it is a different from the financial statements. The accounts would be like cash accounts, payable, and all of that, and that we would have seen in the other class with production, right? So yeah, right. Oh shoot, no. Okay, I know that, and that you have probably seen it already, but can you tell me what are the common financial statements that you know?
Can you repeat the question?
Um, I asked, what are the common financial statements that you know?
Um, it's like an invoice.
No, not like an
Oh,
invoice. I mean like, do you know that the accounts, sorry, the accountants would do like this specific report where they have all of the assets um and all of the
cash book.
liabilities listed.
Yes, miss. Those would be stuff like general ledgers,
Right.
sales day book, purchases day book,
Yes,
cash book,
cash
yeah.
flow. Yes, indeed.
Mm,
Mhm.
petty cash book,
Mhm.
um,
Right. Right. All right.
purchases
Exactly.
journal, sales journal.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm trying to recall the rest. Oh, you can see where I'm filling my accounts, by the way. So yeah.
Okay, no problem. And if you guys are feeling a bit sleepy, just move your head from side to side, and also your neck as well. Right. So I'll give you guys a minute to do that. Well, yeah. I will. I'll finish up shortly. But I just I get you guys awake if you're sleepy. If you're feeling sleepy, just move your head from side to side. Right. All right. But yeah. Yes. Those are counted as accounts. Right. Yeah. But the main thing that I was kind of looking for is the same balance sheet, right? Have you guys done that in sorry, or even the income statement or even the cash flow statement, right? Or even the statement of shareholders equity. And so what this isn't that they would just show you and tell you if you have any retained earnings, right? And so what retained earnings are isn't that it is well it is as the name implies, right? That from any profits and that you have saved after dividends and all of that, that would be placed into the retained earnings. So they would have a record of that, right? And so, as you, I guess, have said, the cash flow statement is just the money or the cash that flows into the business and out of the business, so that the managers would know exactly how much they're spending and if they have to cut back on anything. All right. And then the income statement is just a list of the revenues and also the liabilities, right? And then the balance sheet would be a mixture of all of that, right? So yeah. All right. I think that I should have honestly brought. All right, but next time I will show you a picture of each of these, of what they look like. I think that would have been a good thing to do as well. Right? So now we're going to deal with human resources management, right? And you guys already know exactly a little bit of what human resources management is, right? So I'm not gonna get too much into that. I'm just going to say exactly what it is. It is about managing and motivating people in the organization, right? It is sometimes referred to as personnel management, and then it also it seeks to organize training and development for its employees to make sure that they're up to date, and that they are right for the job, right? And what induction training isn't that it is just like welcoming the new employee or the recruited, sorry, or the hired person to the company. And so they would show them the ins and the outs of the company, right? And then second last, isn't that the human resource manager or department would work closely with the trade unions to properly represent the workers if any problems arise. And then the human resources manager also help to create job advertisements and also a work together with the actual with the department manager. Okay, so for example, if okay, and so say I am a productions manager and I am hiring for the post of a designer, right? I would liaison with the human resource manager and and I would tell them, right, what the individual needs to have and every single thing like that. And so they would then create all the job advertisements, put it out there so that persons can be interviewed. And then the last part is research and development, right? So it is just turning all of the ideas. Okay, so Josh, you said that you have a business plan to do, right? And Hakeem, I'm sure that you have one as well to do, right? Are you guys still with me?
I do.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. So, I know that you guys may or may not, but I just want to ask you anyhow. Do you have an idea yet, or like a business idea?
Um, well, it's sort of hard to explain,
Mm-hmm.
but not really.
Okay. Is it a product or a service?
More like a service.
Okay.
So like designing robots to help people.
Oh, okay. 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 Excellent. Okay. Excellent. Good. All right. So this is where research and development would definitely come into play, right? So you are definitely going to have to create a prototype, right? And this is just a testing of the actual robot, right? Until you can actually get it put it into its final stages, right? But you would need to develop a prototype. So tell me, what are some of the things that you will need to create this prototype?
Wires,
Wires,
metals,
metals,
Power supplies.
power supplies. Okay.
those fancy chips they use that store all the coding and data and all that.
Oh, okay.
Programs.
Okay. Exactly. I was just thinking that as well. Okay. All right. Anything else?
Um, other additional supplies, depending on how complex it is.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, depends on the
like
kind of
um,
robot.
Okay.
like a metallic joints, wheels, cameras,
Okay.
whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely. 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 Okay. So, I heard you guys mention something that is very crucial to this robot. You guys have said programs. And you definitely know that if you're dealing with any single thing techie like that, is going to need a program. Right. So, how are you guys going to set up this program?
By programming it.
Okay. All right. And so
Very
what app
interesting.
are you going to, is there like a specific app
Um,
that you would use
you
to
can
code it?
Some sort of software, I guess.
Okay. All right.
PyCharm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm also actually oh my goodness. A thought just came into mind. Yes. Oh, thank you for jumping it back to me, Josh. Yes, you said Python. I cannot remember the other types. Oh my goodness, I can't remember. I can't remember. But there is also a different. I think there's a one called C, HTML as well. Right. So
Next was
those.
Java
Yes,
and
Java.
C plus plus, whatever that is.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And so those are all of the programs that you are definitely going to use in order to make oh yeah, wait. Another question. What is your robot going to do again? I can't remember.
What?
What you said the a robot was going to do?
I don't know. I just wanted to make them.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's fine. All right. So that is also something, and that you are going to have to also take into consideration, right? Because I do understand, and that you are supplying. Sorry. And not only supplying, but also making robots. But the robots are to do what exactly, right? So that is just something, and that would have to go onto your mission statement as well, right? But it is for next week, for Miss Mears' class. So hopefully you guys would have had that down pack by now. So this is what research and the development speaks about. As we have spoken about the same software, about the same wires and the wheels, you are actually going to need like specialists to know exactly where these supplies are gonna come from and how exactly to build them, right? And if it actually is in correspondence with the company's goals and all that. So yeah, right. Oh yes, and then also this last point, right? Isn't that you are definitely going to have to make sure that you're also up to date with the technology and the developments and the new developments that are in the industry. So I think that robotics is a very good field to go into. But just to be a bit cautious, sorry, not cautious, but as a forewarning, and this is like a for the future, right? I think that sometimes the people, the public, um wouldn't know exactly how to handle it, right? Because there are a lot of conceptions about robots taking over your jobs and all of that. So the people in the Caribbean wouldn't know exactly how to handle that. And so I think that you would have to honestly be slow and steady, right? But know exactly how to approach the public as well, right? And that has a lot to do with marketing as well, right? To getting to not only producing your product, but also how to market your product so that the public can see your product as something that is beneficial and not harmful.